From research to production, the whole point of creating and training a machine learning model is to perform inference. And currently, TensorRT 8 provides the most performant way to achieve that. In this video, you will see the latest advancements in TensorRT 8 and what they can do for you. There are three major advancements in TensorRT 8, and first one is quantization-aware training. To better understand quantization-aware training, we should first understand quantization. Quantization is not a new concept in machine learning, and in fact, it is widely used. And to many extent, it is used because of necessity, because many times you're faced with either memory or speed limitation. With quantization, you can significantly decrease the memory you use with your model, along with increasing your execution significantly. This decrease in memory use and increase in speed comes at the cost of certain level of decrease in accuracy, and the exact amount will ultimately depend on your machine learning model. Depending on your use case, the loss of accuracy you have might be acceptable, or you might have to do the quantization even though you're losing significant amount of accuracy because maybe you're limited in terms of memory and you need to perform real-time inference, but you can't afford to use FP16 or FP32 precision. But depending on your use case, you may also not want to lose accuracy while gaining the other performance benefits, especially if you know that you can actually do that. This is where quantization-aware training steps in. With quantization-aware training, you train your model in a way that it's easier for the model to adapt to a quantization. So the common way to do quantization is also called post-training quantization, meaning that you only do the quantization after the training is done. But with the quantization-aware training, you're preparing your model to lose that accuracy beforehand, and you're giving your model time to adjust to that change. You do not have to train your model from scratch, and you can start with a trained model, and you can retrain that network with quantization toolkit. And at the end of the process, you'll achieve FP32 precision using int8 precision. So this way, you're both getting the benefits of actual quantization, and you will also not suffer from significant amount of accuracy loss. Another major advancement with TensorRT 8 is sparsity support for Ampere-based GPUs. So this advancement does not apply to all kinds of GPUs, and it targets specifically Ampere-based GPUs because Ampere generation GPUs have something that others don't. And that thing is called sparse kernels. Sparse kernels target a very common problem in machine learning. And the problem is that a significant portion of your machine learning model don't actually need to be calculated. Imagine you have to multiply thousands of numbers with pen and paper. But when you look at the paper, you can see that there are a lot of complex numbers that have to be multiplied by zero. Your first instinct in this case would be not to calculate the zero multiplications, but simply to write zero right next to them. This is almost the exact problem you want to solve, but for machine learning. So the question becomes, how do you tell your GPU to ignore certain calculations in a systematic way that will be efficient and effective? This is where sparse kernel steps in. And you would need the software to be able to leverage sparse kernels. And with TensorRT 8, we can leverage those sparse kernels on Ampere-based GPUs, such as A100. What happens behind the scenes is that for every 4 consecutive weights you have in your machine learning model, exactly 2 of them that are closer to 0 are zeroed out. And the location of which ones are zeroed out and which ones are going to still be used is stored in memory. This way, we are predictably and systematically increase performance, because at the time of inference, the GPU will remember which calculations to ignore and which calculations are actually necessary for the inference. And because this process is relatively simple and doesn't depend on highly specific characteristics, it can be adapted to work with many different neural networks. The third major update with TensorRT 8 is transformer optimizations. Transformers totally took over 2020 by storm. Initially, transformers hit the headlines with natural language models, such as GPT-2 and GPT-3. But later on, it was discovered that they can be used for a variety of tasks and they can generate state-of-the-art results. So using transformers, you can not only generate state-of-the-art results in natural language processing, but they're also highly versatile and they can be used to connect text and images, generate text from images, or just work on images. And their application and performances and what you can do with them literally increases day by day. One major difference of transformer-based networks compared to other network types, such as convolutional neural networks, is that transformers can vary a lot in their structure, and this makes it relatively hard to optimize for GPUs, simply because there are so many different combinations of operations. And in this case, TensorRT 8 adapts better to those structures And this will result you in up to double the performance of what you would get compared to previous version of TensorRT, which was version 7. If you want to learn more about TensorRT 8, or if you just want to get started with it, I will make sure to add some links down below. With that said, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.